Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather. In this update, we've got a growing storm system that could mean big problems ahead as we head into Thanksgiving weekend. So let's take a look at the overall satellite picture this afternoon, and we can find ourselves with the big story the last 2 days has been this lake effect snow event up here into the Northeast, where they've seen record snowfall. Up to 4 to 6 feet of snow has fallen, and there's more snow on the way in the next couple of days. And further to the south, we had a pretty impressive cold blast that came through Texas, actually brought some snow showers into the overnight and around portions of Texas. I in fact woke up to some sleet in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the middle of the night, so no problems on the roadways. But yeah, it was definitely early to see at least some snow down here into portions of Texas. But further to the south, it's just been all rain, and a chilly rain as far as into deep South Texas, all on the coast here into Florida. But there's also another pocket of instability down here into the Caribbean, and this is the area that I'm looking out in the next 6 to 10 days. It could actually form into some tropical type feature, believe it or not, as we head towards the end of November. But man, this cold front has been impressive. It's very rare to see the entire lower 48 basically below average and well below average for your daytime high temperatures, all the way down into the Rio Grande Valley, 30 below average, temperature anomalies down here as far south into South Texas. So this has been a very impressive cold snap, to say the least. And the last time we've seen something like this was all the way back 8 years ago in November in 2014. Ironically, that was the last time we had a big time snow event up here in the Northeast as well. And it's kind of been a deja vu type setup. So here's some snow amounts that ended last night. And then adding to these totals into the overnight hours, they had 66 inches in and around the Orchard Park area. They have since added to those totals. Now we're up to 77 inches, guys. That is over 6 feet, 6.5 feet of snow. And I think Buffalo Airport topped out over 30 inches now. The airport's closed up there, and they're trying desperately to get that thing back open, but they have no place to put the snow. Those plows are working overtime, and even the plows are getting stuck. I mean, there's just no place to put this stuff, and we've got more snow on the way. In fact, could be picking up another 8 to a foot of snow. So on compounding on top of those 77 inches, we could be looking at upwards to 80-inch totals, if not more, which is insane for what's to come with this lake effect snow event. So definitely it has been a record-setting snow, and that will cause big problems in the days ahead, because they got to get this stuff and put it on, get it off their roof. And there's just been a massive amount of snow, and there's just no place to put it. So going forward, let's take you through the rest of the country, and we do see those sporadic mixed precipitation down here into Texas for today, and further to the south, that's where all the chillier rain is going to be, with those 30 below average temperature anomalies right along the coast into the deep south here into Florida. Further to the north, we still got those sporadic lake effect snow showers. So it's definitely another concern of adding to those totals with at least another 8 inches to a foot, even some places another 2 feet of snow for the next day or two. And then as we go into your Sunday time frame, so we're still dealing with kind of a chilly rain, essentially set it up just south of Dallas, but especially into central Texas, deep South Texas, back into the Houston area. There's that cold front draped across Florida. So Florida's going to be seeing some scattered rain shower activity. The rest of the country is still fairly dry and pretty clear. But really, that snow event's going to be still unfolding down here even into Sunday for a good chunk of the Northeast, headed into Toronto, into Montreal, and especially along the lakes there. So as we move into your Monday time frame, we still got that chillier rain they're going to be dealing with far south into deep South Texas. We got our active subtropical jet stream, and that's going to be playing a major role when our next storm maker is going to be coming to fruition. But we're going to be seeing this snowstorm trying to wind itself down by the time we get into Monday. I think the lake effect will be gladly over by then, and that snow will be lifting further north into Canada, and they'll be seeing some of that heavier snows by then into Toronto, heading up into Montreal, as we start to see the beginning stages of more rain trying to come back in the picture for the Pacific Northwest. So by Tuesday, on the expanded view, we're watching this trough finally lift out up to the northeast, and all eyes will be on this beginning stages of this little trough that's going to be setting up over Alaska. That's the system that's going to be concerning as we head into your Thanksgiving weekend. So as we move through time and go through Wednesday, as that trough will continue to dive southeast, it'll be entering the United States by then, and it'll be entering portions of the northeast into the northwest, bringing back those rain showers for them. So it's been dry as of late, but the Pacific Northwest, the atmospheric river, will be coming back into play with complements of this renewed trough, and it'll have its kind of cold core pocket of air with it as well. So it'll bring back the snow showers into portions of Idaho as well as into Montana, as we're still dealing with that trough down here, that old frontal boundary down here into Florida, still bringing them there's scattered showers, as that snow will be gladly lifting out of the northeast, as definitely by Wednesday. But what's concerning, the atmosphere will be resetting over the next couple of days, as much of the country, as I showed, is fairly quiet, but things aren't going to be quiet as we starting to go into your Thanksgiving, especially headed into your Thanksgiving weekend. It's all based on this trough that's going to be diving in from Alaska, and it really starts to dig, and it's going to have its own cold core aloft with it. We are going to have an active subtropical jet out here off the west. So as this trough digs in, and the further it's going to be able to dig, the more moisture it's going to be able to pick up from this active subtropical jet. So that could make all the difference of the world, as some of that cold air with it will be dragged further into along with it. So as we progress throughout the week, we're going to be having this ridge of high pressure that's going to be kind of moving from essentially west to east. So it's a slow warm up. It's just nothing quick. It's just a very slow warm up, a little day by day. But in the midsection of the country, this cold pocket with this trough is going to have its own cold core with it. And that's going to help lower the temperatures as well within this trough. So as we move through Friday, that's when things get pretty concerning, because this trough will be digging all the way down into the coast. And typically when that happens, that has a lot of amplitude with it. And the further it's able to dig, the more it's going to be able to tap into that active subtropical jet. That'll bring down the colder temperatures. There's where your 850 millibar low pressure would be up here into Indiana. So the further it's going to be able to dig, it's going to be pulling in some of that Gulf moisture, pulling in some of that Atlantic moisture, and going to be wrapping around. So it's going to be two low pressure systems that's going to be forming. We're going to have the main low, we're going to be swinging across into portions of the Ohio Valley. And I don't think these models are picking up on, the cold I think there's going to be trending colder as we get closer to this event. As the models grasp on this significance of this trough that's going to be taking shape as we get closer in time. But when on Friday, pretty concerning, because this ridge of high pressure is going to be building in from the west. That's going to be bringing those above average temperatures, slowly moving in from the west to the east. Then we're going to have its own trough. Look at the 540 line digging all the way down into the deep south. That's fairly significant, and that's going to be able to pick up a lot of this moisture from the Atlantic and then kind of wrap it around into the Ohio Valley. And we could be looking at a fairly significant snowstorm with pretty good impacts, across this region. So we'll be fine tuning this as we move through time, but definitely concerning with this trough really digging into the southeast and really amplifying and lifting further north as we head into your Saturday time frame. We've got a whole week to kind of fine tune this system, but definitely concerning what we're looking at least this far out as things start to come together. So we'll have our snowstorm that's going to be winding down into the northeast with that lake effect snow. And then when the atmosphere turns quiet, that's always concerning, because it's really rebuilding and kind of resetting itself. So it'll be resetting for a good solid 4 days from a good part of the country, as most of the instability is just further into the deep south, but fairly quiet from essentially, Sunday to really Wednesday time frame. So we got a whole 4 days. The atmosphere kind of resets itself and really builds for this next system that's be coming in. So by the time we get into next weekend, this is what it'd be looking like, as this ridge will slowly move in from west to east through time. So we'll start to see our warm up and our significant temperature gradient. I do feel as this gradient gets closer, it'll actually deepen this colder temperatures as well along the east coast. One of the things I'm looking at is the EPO, which is your East Pacific Oscillation here. We've been talking about this dip for a long time, and we finally start to rebound. So we are going to be rebounding. That's the indication where that ridge is going to be building from the west to the east slowly throughout the week. But we have seen some changes over the last 2 days as we're starting to see another dip. So we start to look at the teleconnections first, and the teleconnections always the first sign as we see this dip as we get after Thanksgiving, towards that Friday after Thanksgiving. And that's the dip I think's not built into the models or the global models yet. So I think that system is going to be a little bit colder than what the models are displaying at the moment. So that's going to be a significant difference in the overall setup. And the NAO is also one of the things to look at. So as this system gets along the eastern seaboard, we start to see into Friday after Thanksgiving, this NAO start to turn negative on all the models. And that's going to be a significance, because that's going to be able to keep this system up the eastern seaboard more or less and not be more progressive and heading out to sea. So we'll be fine tuning this as we get closer to this event. But the overall temperature anomalies as we head into your Saturday going into your Sunday time frame, as it looks right now, with the ridge really building in from west to east, we finally start to rebound and have a little bit of a warm up. It's not significant or anything at that stretch of the imagination, but we are going to be finally rebounding after we've seen such 7-10 days of widespread colder conditions. All the colder air will be draped along where that cold pocket will be, and along into the east. And I feel with all those combinations, I don't think this is doing it justice enough. I think this will be a lot colder as we get towards that event. So here's the overall setup for the next 7 days, is where the precipitation will be. Most of this precipitation won't even fall until Wednesday. From Wednesday through Sunday is going to be fairly active up here in the Pacific Northwest, heading along the coast here into Washington and Oregon and into Northern California. And then we'll be watching this trough dive in from the northwest. And as it digs, going to be able to tap into this active subtropical jet that's going to be draped across along the coast here. And then as this lifts up the coast, there's your precipitation that's going to be formalizing along the coast here. So we'll be watching this storm system, and then we'll have that backside moisture as that wraparound and that northwest flow, as cross polar flow, will set up as we head into your Friday, Saturday, Sunday, heading into next weekend. So we'll be watching this storm and fine tuning this. It's fairly significant because we are heading into Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving weekend, and a lot of people do travel. So this could be pretty concerning as we head into that time frame, with a lot of people be traveling on the roads and in the air. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.